Life is hectic, demanding, and doesn't stop. When honest with ourselves, we must confess we often don't know what the hell we're doing. The Larkcast is an ongoing conversation about the inclusive and mischievous nature of God's presence through the lens of all the things that make up this phenomenon we refer to as life. Astonishing grace and refreshing honesty collide right here for your weekly encouragement.
3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Larkcast. What's up, birthday boy?
Not much, man. One day older.
How old are you now?
39.
Man, I know you lying.
Nah, dude, I joined I had to think for a second this morning. I was like, how old am I? And my wife reminded me that I'm 47.
47. Okay.
47.
Dude,
47.
if you don't throw an absolute banger of a 50th, I'm going to be so angry with you.
I'm going to leave that up to you, man.
I should be asked to be on the planning committee. I'm not the one to lead the charge. That's more of a Krista thing. But yeah, I'm a no-brainer on the planning committee on that one.
Gonna be a good one, I think.
Well, I knew it was your birthday, and so I have a battery lit candle for you.
Oh, man.
And I'm gonna sing the last line of happy birthday to you. And we're all gonna collectively, we're all gonna join you in our cars, in our offices, on our treadmills.
Just people breaking out in song at random moments.
3, 2, and 1. Happy birthday to you. Blow your candle out. Blow your battery candle out. There we go.
Man.
So I got with a few larks to get you a little something. And I'm gonna show it on this podcast here. Okay, this is for you.
You're smiling too much, dude. This don't. This is not like. Yeah, this is. Yeah, and if you're watching, folks, you're
Dang
like,
it!
Did he just?
I hate it when Okay, for those who didn't see, I reached over on the side of my computer and gave Russ the bird. I hate when someone knows you so much that they could just tell what's going on. I hate it.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
As soon as I was like, man, that's really cool, dude. I felt a little special there for about half a second. And I was like, that's a shit-eating grin right there, man. I know this ain't no present.
Oh man. No, happy birthday, man. On behalf of everybody, I know I speak for more people than myself. We love you and so appreciative of you. Thanks for everything you do and bring to the table, and spearheading Lark and keeping conversation of grace alive on the podcast and through written ways and stuff, but then also just being available on the phone for people and opening up your home and all that, man. So we love you.
Yeah. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. It's a joy to be here. Another day older.
Yep.
Somebody asked me yesterday, like, man, what are you gonna do for your birthday? It's like, I'll probably work.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Same thing I've done for the last 28 birthdays.
Yes.
He's like,
yep.
He says, well, were you gonna celebrate? And I'm like, yeah, I think this weekend, this was a few days ago. I said, I think this weekend my older kids, my 2 little new grandkids, man, will come over. And told my wife I wanted some Mexican food and key lime pie. So we're gonna eat Mexican food. I'm gonna eat key lime pie. She's gonna pick me up some good beer somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lay on the floor with 2 little grandkids, man. That and just be happy as a lark.
Yep. That's awesome. Someone said
like,
the other day we were out to eat and they're like, uh, oh, it was the server came over like, do you want dessert? And Pam was the only one out of us four that wanted dessert. We're like, hey, like, go for it, Pam. No judgment. You know how the ladies are, dude. Like, if they don't have their girlfriends with them, it's hard for them to just eat dessert in front of a bunch of people by themselves.
Bro, I'll take somebody else's dessert and eat it
No,
by
well,
myself.
it's different for us, dude. Last night we had a birthday party for my mother-in-law who has the same birthday as you.
Yeah,
And I had three three servings of dessert.
there you go.
So it's different. So Pam she goes, babe, they got key lime pie. And I'm like,
Mm.
I just looked at the whole table and I'm like, dude, if that key lime pie ain't from a Publix in Southwest Florida, I don't want anything to do with it.
It is a very true story. Very true statement, I should say. People don't know, man.
They don't
People,
know.
they don't know, dude. They come down and they go to these restaurants and they're like, man, there was this key lime pie. And I'm like, well, how much was it? And they're like,
Just
it was
shut
a little
up.
pricey. It was 14.99 for a slice, but
What?
it had like this glaze, or, then of course you get it all the way down to like, say, $7. About the cheapest you'll find, 7 to 8, like I'm like, well, I don't know if you know this, but you can go to that Publix right down the street and pay $9 and get the whole damn pie.
A whole thing.
Yeah. And they're like, no way. But I mean, it can't be that good. It's from a grocery store. And I'm like, nah,
It's
nah,
on
it's
point.
from
Cause
it's from Florida born and bred Publix, bro. And just telling
yeah.
you, they they know how to make key lime pie there.
Cause I have had a lot of key lime pie at, various restaurants, visiting you and stuff. And it's good for sure. It's good. But dude, that Publix is where it's at.
That's it. Yeah, man, it was
That and
great.
them pub subs.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so I got something. I'm hoping we can keep it light, keep it funny. Today should be a shorter episode, but
We got some zingers coming, folks. We got some deep-hearted zingers coming in the near future. So today, I'm just kidding. I was just playing along. Go ahead. What you
oh,
got?
um, so I have social media like the rest of you, and follow people and see the posts and sometimes check out the comments. So this guy I know locally, he's a good dude. His office is really close to mine. We run into each other. He's out and about in the community and stuff like that. And we always link up and chat. And he he goes to a local church and he's on the worship team. And he posted a picture from practice. And it was honestly, it was like a just a pretty cool, like, I'm just grateful, for my life and everything going on. And he's got a few things going on right now, and just, I mean, just cool to see like a heart of gratitude, just enjoying life, just thankful for, all the things. And he made mention that he was at, this, worship practice or whatever. Fine posts. So I go down to the comments and there's this dude I know, and he goes to a different church. And his comment was this. And if you don't laugh, you'll just,
Cry?
no, stone him.
Hmm.
Because he goes, this is his post. My beloved son, with whom I'm well pleased. And I was like, I almost just hit reply and just typed blasphemy. Just freaking blasphemy, dude. What is wrong with you? There's a difference between being thankful about life, no matter your circumstances, in light of who God is, who Jesus is. There's a difference between that and the words the Father said over the Son at his baptism. Those two things are not the same, dude. They are not the same. And I was like, this is
No.
just a classic example of the undiscerning biblical illiteracy to drag this dude's two-bit, you know, volunteerism and like momentary gratitude and drag it into the realm of Jesus himself. It was like we can't tell the difference between these two things.
Mm.
It's just crazy. So I thought you'd have a heyday with that one.
Yeah, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, throw things. Just kidding.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you do continue to live in this world long enough, especially like just, the church world. The ideas, you know what I mean? Man, they're they're everywhere. And when I say idea, I just mean like ideas that are just things like what you were just sharing. And I was in a conversation 2 days ago, 3 days ago with a new guy that I met, and he was like, "Man, I can't." And I mean, I appreciate like his honesty in the conversation, but he's like, "Dude, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around just this idea of just how would you even go about following Jesus? How would you even go about just like worshiping him, man, if you weren't like an active participant, on at church services every Sunday, man? Like, I just don't even understand how that can even like how not doing that can even be an option if following Jesus is really what you're after." And I can see you chuckling right now, right? Because it's like on one hand, like your heart is for them, right? And I'm just being honest here. Like your heart is for them,
And they're
and
dude, and they're good folks, man.
and
You
they're
know?
so sincere. And here's the part that's hard is I used to 100% believe and say and teach and push
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I used to hold that over people, man, as a pastor. That
Yep.
very same comment.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all you know.
Hmm.
And but yeah, in that moment, I was like, man, think about what you just said. Like that end part. He's like the follow Jesus thing. And I'm like, yeah. I said, think about just really quick, what did Jesus do? All right. And he starts like going through the list. And what did he tell us to do? And and you can start to see some of the light bulbs, you know what I mean, going off where it's like, yeah, dude, you're you're running in something, man, that he never said or did, and saying that this is following him. And then people who are actually just trying to repeat what he said and live the way he lived, as far as like being a friend who helps others live free in the everyday flow of life, aren't.
Yeah.
Like just to think about that out loud, to say it out loud. It's like this isn't like borderline insanity. It's it's insanity. It's like
Y-
it's declaring an opposite to be true. Not,
Yeah.
it's defining reality with non-reality. It's
Yeah.
just like but man, it's all you know. So that dude, right? He's probably heard like, man, yeah, my son in whom I'm well pleased. You just pass
Dude.
this thing on, and it's like,
And it's like,
yeah,
dude, like the temple in Jesus' day was it, dude. That's how we view, you know, modern church services.
mm-hmm,
God is there. We worship there. His spirit is there. His spirit is activated during, worship. God is speaking to us, through the preached word, which is true that, the word is pointing, to Jesus and it's a word from, from the Lord. It doesn't matter where it is, but it's true. But in Jesus' day, you have this temple, and they're so about this temple. And Jesus just looks at these Pharisees who are trying to just pin him on heresy and blasphemy so they can kill him. He goes, dude, something greater than the temple is standing right in front of you.
Yeah.
And then literally, right, in AD 70, the temple gets destroyed. And God doesn't dwell in buildings made with human hands. In fact, it says your body is the temple because we're in him and he's in us.
Yeah.
We're living stones of this temple. So you want to talk about how I follow Jesus, bro? He was telling you like there is like this is it. Like
Yeah.
it's our relation. It's me and you. I'm in you, you're in me, and then all these other people who trust in me too, who have awakened to this, I'm in them and they're in me as well. And
And then he
it's
takes it
just,
even further in the parables where he goes, and all these other people out here who don't believe in me yet, yeah, I'm in
I'm in
them,
them too.
and they're in me too. Because there is no existence. As Job says, if God's spirit did not dwell within us, we would turn to dust immediately.
Oh, dude,
And
it's
yeah,
brutal.
man. Yeah, a passage that has been really, really cool for me along those lines that was helpful for me in making like a little bit of a shift back in the day, and I kind of returned to it um recently, which I kind of started talking about this new book because I'm just horrible about that promotion, marketing. It's not my
You
skill set.
you are bad at marketing. Yes.
Yeah. And I can write the words. It's just kind of beyond that. It's just sort of, yeah, it's not there. And but yeah, new book coming out, All the Lark. And just a one passage in there, man, that I was able to kind of zero in on for a second that was really just like an eye opener. I can remember in these like turning points in my journey was when Jesus was speaking to his life on a cross and the moment on the cross, and he says, on that day, right? It will be revealed, he says. It will be revealed, not made possible, not something will become about. He says, on that day it will be revealed that I am in my Father and you are in me. It's like, oh, where was that at, dude? Years ago when I was wrestling, trying to get into God's good graces, trying to get into God's presence, trying to grow so I could remain in his presence or I could increase his presence or
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like so many of like
Mm-hmm.
the whole worship and shows and you know what I'm saying? All
Yep.
the disciplines and it's all like studies, it's all around that. And meanwhile, he's like, yeah, there's coming a moment when your love for religion is gonna which is a far greater love than your love for me, your God, is going to demand my life. And I'm going to willingly, right, humbly, as Philippians says, submit myself unto this and be put to death at the hands of your religion,
Your
not to
religion.
convince you, okay, that maybe I'll accept you, not to put you into some endless cycle of shame and gratitude or shame and striving, like depending on which camp you're in right now. And not even so that my father could finally love you, or maybe with a blood sacrifice he can finally get over the hump and offer some grace. You know, it's like no, on that day what's going to be revealed is that this father who's always been in you has always loved you. And maybe now you'll finally be convinced that I've always been in him. He's always been in me. We've always been in you. You are the temple. It's like, phew, where where was that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Where was that at?
It's tough.
I'm talking to you. I'm just kidding. I was about to start naming all the leaders I had in the past.
I'm
I'm
talking to
talking to you,
you,
brother.
Bill John, Billy Joe.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
I'm just finding myself over here just like now I'm like thinking
Thinking,
about it.
get your brain racing. I
Yep.
did use that verse though, because for my birthday, my oldest son, um, he's been running and gunning, man, at work, and wife at home with a 1 week old and kind of running on fumes. And I can remember those days.
Yep.
Carved out a little quick moment to run to the store and pick me up a birthday present. And he came walking in with this new Milwaukee thermos mug, dude, for like
Yeah.
cold or hot drinks. Because I kind of nerd out on Milwaukee power tools. I don't get to use them that often, but I ain't gonna lie, I like to stand in my little shed and just stare at the wall of red, and it makes me feel good. So he brings me this mug, and point is, in that moment, I was like, "This is my son, in whom I will please."
He had that engraved on the side.
I spoke those words over him as he
It's
handed
like
me this
most dudes who
fine
are
gift.
buying that as a gift, you can customize it. You could just imagine all the custom phrases when
Oh
they buy it
man,
for their, you know,
yeah,
coworkers.
yeah,
Chief
that was
asshole.
the best.
Speaking of religion, dude, the religion of power tools, are you
Oh
Milwaukee
yeah.
or DeWalt? And and then of course Milwaukee and DeWalt they go back and forth. And then of course they both just judge anyone who has Ryobi.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like the charismatics and the Baptists get together, like, well, at least we ain't Catholic.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. That reminds me, like I got hit twice in one day, man, with somebody, two different people wrestling with some stuff they were wondering about. One guy was sent me this I guess some notable like Catholic priest who just went down this whole list of dude basically just I mean he wasn't even like trying to pull punches. I mean this guy was like just trying to lay in haymakers on people, like just kind of like brutal in his like in his attack. And basically if you're not sitting in a Catholic church service under the leadership of a priest, right, and taking the Eucharist from them only with a connection through Mary, he's like, yeah, you can bank on the fact that you're going to hell. And this guy, comes from that background. So he's like, man, well, what do I do with this, dude? And I was like, well, that's a pretty long rant. He's like, yeah. I said, did you look into all the verses that he shared to support that? He goes, wait a second. He didn't share any. I was like, yeah, it's because there are none. I think
Yeah.
you're safe, bro. Here's a few things to take a look at, man. Anyhow, like, those are like the
Is
three
that
camps, though,
one the
right?
one reel where it's like they're without the priesthood and they're without the Eucharist and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All
Even
you
though the
have on
scriptures,
Sunday is just a Bible study kind of a thing.
yeah. Meanwhile, you got First Peter, who's like, actually, everybody who's a believer is a priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Oh,
that
that
dude you're
temple thing? Yeah.
referencing? You know that Peter dude you're referencing? He had something to say about this. Crazy.
You know that role model that you hold up above all of this? Yeah. You know the one that was married? Oh, wait. No, let's keep going. Yeah,
Yeah.
he also said,
Yeah.
man, it's just a
But
funny
then
world.
well then you
It's
go the
just
other
and it's
side.
it's just endless.
Well then you go the other side. You know, when I was a new Christian, um I I just wanted to know more about the Bible. I was like completely like just clueless.
Yeah.
So I had this uncle who was like, really he was a, you know, student of the scriptures, knew a lot of theology, and I didn't know. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, like my uncle Rich is, he knows a lot. I'll go, study with
I'll
him.
go over here.
And I show up to his house, and he used to have these Bible studies and stuff like that. People would show up, and we come sit down, and I got my whatever, some Bible my mom got me as a as a gift, and I barely ever opened or used the thing. And he goes, okay, first thing you need to know, the church is not Israel, and Israel is not the church. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. I'm like, should I write this down? And I'm just like, okay, I guess this is important, you know? And then I'm like, he had me like read, some verse or whatever. And he goes, what Bible you got there? And it was like an NIV. And he took it, he threw it across the room, and he went into his back room and got this like brand new Ryrie NASB study Bible out. And he handed it to me. And I was like, okay, I was learning a
Like
lot of
literally
I was
just
learning a
chucked
lot
my
of things like right away. And yes, my uncle is a very eccentric man. But then you have the opposite with the Catholic Church thing because he grew up kind of like Chicago Catholic,
yeah.
and you come to everything that we're talking about now, you could say like, man, I've been lied to. There's a lot of this ignorance and no scriptures, and you could start to grow bitter towards, where you came from, which is, yeah, I would say is
Yeah.
like true even in my case, just looking back at our church days and stuff like that, some of that, cynicism and jadedness and stuff, can creep in, which is a fight, it's a struggle. But he would go, he was like, no one in the Catholic Church is saved, and he would say, no one could get saved in the Catholic Church. And then later on, I was thinking about my own story, and I was like, bro, like I awakened to the person of Jesus, like truly, like in my mind and in my heart and in this moment in my life in a 1993 black Ford Ranger driving westbound on Route 231 in Northwest Indiana. Like if God can speak to me in a 1993 Ford, I'm pretty sure he could do the same at the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's one of my favorite things to think about in regards of ministry is just, the Lord works with us, the Lord works without us, and he seems to primarily work in spite of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
And he just
I
works.
Yeah, I think the danger side to it is we then look at things where something happened and then think to ourselves like, well, that must be good. That must be of the Lord. That must be the way. That has to be the model because look what happened. Instead of going like, well, no, God's just good.
Yeah.
He's just good. And he can work in these things and help us see and learn. I mean, I started out on a freight dock, similar kind of backstory to you, get plugged into a church where my theology goes like way off into some, hardcore Baptist land because that's what was around me. That's all I knew, right? That's
Your
everybody and
pa-
their
your
mother.
pants
That's
went
who,
off at the hardcore Baptist land too.
yeah, it's like that's where I got invited. That's where I got trained.
I will forever make fun of your pleated khaki pants.
But I had pleated khaki shorts.
They got issued to you. It's like at your baptism at the church, they
Oh
like
yeah.
handed you a box. They're like, here you go. Here's
Bro,
a
we got drilled.
here.
I got drilled in being worldly. So like just I like live with this constant angst, man, of like, okay, I know God's good and apparently he loves me, but am I worldly? And so my whole life was just like this endless pursuit, man, of working through every filter around me to weed out any worldliness. And I mean,
You
it
know where
came
you
to
did you know where you didn't struggle with worldliness in the Baptist church? When you were halfway through a Publix key lime pie, dude, by
no,
yourself. You didn't have that thought then.
nope, nope. In fact, I can remember like studying the scriptures in Bible college, which is when I started speaking up in the leadership circles and going, "Yeah, that's what you're saying is that it's not actually in the text." After you do that for 6 months, man, it creates a little bit of an issue. But I can remember that one time when they were just adamant, dude. Like, if you had a beer, bro, like you got to check your salvation.
Yes.
You had some wine, seriously? Like, are you even a believer in Jesus? And I just remember like in literally like in class, and I was kind of at that point in my early journey, you know what I mean, of like leading and learning and speaking but at the same time there's like this tension inside of me because Meanwhile, I'm studying the scriptures and seeing this whole other story. You know what I mean? Other than the one that I'm like living and telling. And I was in this school setting and I was like, yeah, but the word here, like in the Greek, literally means fermented drink. Like that's the actual meaning of it. So it's not grape juice. The word here says fermented drink. Yeah, but you couldn't like get drunk off of it. And I'm like, so then how are they wasted at the party where he then makes more wine? Why does he give a warning of not being drunk if you can't possibly get drunk?
Yeah.
And this dude was just like not having it. Meanwhile, he weighed like 450 pounds. I'm not exaggerating. And was like this prominent leader in the in that world, man. And I was just like, what the? So yeah, man, the cynicism. It's hard because you find yourself
It's
like,
hard to really see it and objectively see it, especially for leaders because like, you want to toe the company line or the denominational line or,
yeah,
whatever. And one of the um I would say more helpful, good things that have come out of me like A, stepping away from ministry, but then, you know, B, not feeling like I have to be like have this sort of like tie to a church or a tribe or like, whatever. Um, is you're able to, be more open to, critically thinking about that instead of, having to defend it, so to speak.
yeah, yeah. I would say amen to that. And for all of you out there listening on this, and maybe if you're new in the journey, like it's okay to feel. Let me just say this, like, because I wish that this is something somebody would have told me is you're human, man. So be human and let the human emotions do what they do. Like you're gonna feel angst. You're going to feel anger. You're probably gonna deal with cynicism. You might be dealing with it right now. I'm not saying like those things are fantastic. Sign up for them, pursue them with everything you have. As much as I'm saying you don't have to carry some like sense of shame because you're going through the struggles, right? Of coming out of something, man, or on the brink of coming out of something that you're going, this isn't in the scripture. It didn't actually lead to the freedom faith was meant to bring. I'm spending all my time doing all of these things that Jesus never did or told us to do. Meanwhile, I have no time to actually step in to what he did tell us to do.
Yeah.
And again, like feel it and know like you can be honest about it. And I can say I do believe there's light at the end of the tunnel. I don't I still have my moments, but I don't carry an angst like I used to. I can get a little anxious in regards to I can it's not so much it's not even anxious. It's more like maybe frustrated. Like I do find myself at moments,
Yeah.
in
Angry,
conversations.
frustrated.
Yeah, because I'm like, why do I like I feel like I care about this. I care about your enjoying of a freedom that God gave you. I feel like more than you do.
Hmm.
Why am I carrying this in a way that you're like just seem to not be bothered by
Yeah. And then
and
you see like in the scriptures why it's like, hey, put away bitterness, because you get all angry and amped up and you
yeah,
carry that. And
yep,
I think it's something that you'll always, carry. But I think at certain times I really like just went like gave into, just that bitterness and anger. And I think, dude, in a lot of ways, I might still be there. But it kills you, man. It kills you in, your
yeah.
heart and how you're viewing people. It doesn't open you up to be charitable and gracious in conversations and stuff like that. And you just see
I mean,
the good wisdom in the scriptures. Hey, don't do this. Why? Because you trying to control me and just put a rule on me. It's like, no, man, like this actually is gonna kill you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that part in Matthew 28 that gets lost is we talk about like as you're going, right? Disciple others in this good news and baptize them, amen. And where that I feel like where that always gets off track for most of us is what Jesus says next in verse 20. He says, teach them to observe all I've commanded. But the Greek word there that's often gets translated as observe actually means to hold to treasure. It's like its literal definition is Jesus saying, teach them to hold on to what I've shown you because it's a value worth keeping close.
Yeah,
That's what he's
that's
saying.
good.
It's the total
I dig that.
opposite of go teach them to follow the rules.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's actually saying the total opposite of that.
Yeah.
But yet everywhere you go, it's it's preached. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least in my story, everywhere I went, it's always like kind of going down this road where you're going, yeah, that's not what he that's not what he said. But yeah, man, I think another thing that's been helpful to me is just to throw this out there is also thinking through like who's listening, like who the heart's for. Like, my heart is for all people. I would love for everybody to experience, the actual God that set them free, the one who's present in them, who loves them. It's already made them whole, already brought them home. Um, amen. But my experience is, that love of control, that self justification addiction that we humans struggle with, man, that really gets in the way of that for a lot of people. And I have found that there can be like a lot of there can be a real loss of joy and bitterness and strife and angst can come from spending your time trying to convince people that they're an addict who the last thing they want to do is look in a mirror.
Mm.
And so it doesn't mean, don't love on everyone around you. Um, or don't miss out on the joy of being a friend without next steps, right? By all means. That's life. That's Trinity. That's relationship. But I do think there is a freedom to like, yeah, man, invest where people are hungry to actually see who Jesus really is. And you'll
Yeah.
find yourself not as frustrated, I feel like, with all the noise around us because the social media thing, like we've had fun, in the last like 6, 8 episodes, you know what I'm saying? Like just dude, I just got handed this, I just got sent this. I mean, this just keeps popping up in my feed and I'm just like beating my head against the wall. But the truth is it's not going anywhere.
No, it's
Human
not.
love over control through the religious noise, it's not going anywhere. You can't. So let me just say this. You can't kill it, but you can die to it. That's
Yep.
been a helpful word for me this past week. You can't kill this noise,
Yeah.
but you can die to it, which
Yep.
is Jesus's invitation to just look at it and go, yeah, that's actually a myth. The
And
independent me, it's a myth. Let it go.
grateful to have, a podcast, some teaching, some writing, and some community and availability to those who have come to the end of their virtuous rope. Because that's a miracle
Yeah.
in and of itself. I mean, dude, God came down in Jesus and submitted himself to our religion to show us the inevitable end of our religion, which is the crucifying of God himself.
Yeah.
And anybody who you know can get to a place where they're just like this is not working. None of this is working, and I'm not this person, you know.
Yeah.
And to be in that place of like that beautiful discouragement when you finally realize you don't got it. You ain't him,
Yep.
you ain't it. Um,
And he never asked you to be it.
yeah, no. So, man,
Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers, my
Cheers
friends.
to you. Cheers
Cheers
to your
to you, dude.
birthday.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to God's love for heretics and blasphemers and idiots alike.
And us.
Till next time.